Andy, we talked in our last little bit around the story of a business, and every business over the last 18 months has got a story about how it was before COVID, how it coped during COVID, and what it looks like post-COVID. Yep. So what 3 tips would you give to businesses looking for funding over the next 6 months?
So I would, as you may have gleaned from our conversation and from the amount of time that we've known one another, I really like to see businesses plan properly. Mm-hmm. So my first one would be plan with agility. So what I mean by that is really demonstrate the rigor in your thought processes. Create time to think strategically, to think tactically, to think about people, your people within your team, to think about all of the things, and clearly think about finance. Mm. But we're living in a world that's very dynamic, where changes can be thrust upon you, and you have to react to those. Yep. But you still got to start with a plan. So plan as best you can, and think about how you convey that plan. Second thing is have the right people around you, and it comes back to that earlier point about vision, plan, competence, and measurement. So having the right management team and having the right competence is then really going to reassure a lender or an investor that you've got the right people to deliver the plan, the future cash flow and forecast that you're looking at. So that's my second one. And in terms of people, it's not just about the exec management team. You might need a non-exec director to hold the management team's feet to the fire, and then it's the kind of the right team, the whole staff group, that the right people that want to be there, that are motivated, that are value centred, that are really keen to be on the bus, as it were, as somebody once said. And then my third one is know your numbers. Mm-hmm. I always makes me smile when I watch Dragon's Den and I see people go on that show and come up, and when they're asked about their numbers, they can't recite their numbers. Now, it might be pressure, but the one thing that those investors and those dragons want to know, as a lender does, as an investor does, they want to know that you know your numbers. Yeah. Because if you don't know your numbers, that's something you need to improve. Numbers might not be your strength. Mm. So if that is the case, and I see that a lot, get somebody where it is their strength to help you. That's really important. And support you. So you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know your forecast positions, your margins. You've got to really understand your costs. You've got to look at your liquidity position. So really understanding your numbers now and into the future is something that I think businesses have to really plan and prepare for. So plan, get the right people around you, and know your numbers. So I think it's really important that owner-managers of businesses understand what a lender or an investor is looking for. Mm. And I know I'm stating the obvious a bit here, but what a lender wants to be able to see is, and to feel really confident about, is a business's capability to comfortably service the debt. Mm-hmm. The monthly repayments. We lend up to 5 years, for example, and we want to see a business's ability and have the confidence in the management team that they can service that debt. It might need a capital repayment holiday for the first 6 or 12 months whilst the revenue gets to the right level post-COVID and so on. Mm. And from an investor's point of view, the investor wants to see, when am I going to get the return on my money? How is this profit going to come back to me? And all of the time, of course, that's what they're there for. Yeah. They're not there for the good of the greater world. They're there for, as an investor, looking for a return on their investment and their asset. Yeah. So owner-managers that are looking at trying to raise debt or equity really just need to try and get into the mind of the lender or the investor. And I think that's a point that is probably not understood well enough by enough owners. But hopefully I've conveyed that with enough clarity.